Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Wednesday. We're going to do something that we haven't done in a while today. We're going to do another episode of the Unpopular Opinion series. I started this series a few months back and we basically sit down and I give some of my unpopular opinions about Everton, about football in general, and we have a little bit of a discussion about them in the live comments and in the comment section down below after the stream as well. Now today's episode is a really interesting one. As you can see to the right of me there, nearly got me lefts and rights mixed up there, that would have been embarrassing. To the right of me there, that is of course the Everton Crest, the official Everton logo from the 2013-14 Premier League season. The first season under Roberto Martinez, the first season after David Moyes had left after 11 years at the football club. It was very much a crest that, although not many people liked and although not many people took to due to the design, and we'll talk about why, although I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people think, design-wise it's not great, let's be perfectly honest, but it was the crest, you know, after David Moyes, Roberto Martinez's first season. It was a fresh start for Everton Football Club in terms of management, in terms of new players, in terms of playing style, and in terms of crest as well. We had Nike at the time as well, so whether Nike had some involvement in changing the old crest that obviously we'd had for 10 or 15 years, something like that. So it was a massive change for the football club at the time, and we you know, this new crest was sort of released to us. We weren't told about it. We didn't have the option to pick between a certain amount of crests like we did later on. This crest was sort of just given to us, and like I said, fans didn't really take to it due to the design. It looks a little bit basic, shall we say. Let's be perfectly honest, it's basic. There's nothing overly wrong with it. It's just basic. It's got 1878, it's got St Rupert's Tower, and it's got Everton in it, and that's it really. There's not much to it. There's not a lot of personality to it. There's not a lot of design to it. It hasn't taken somebody long to scratch this up, let's be perfectly honest. But after saying all of that, and after all of the fume, and after all of the fans in testing it, obviously the club did make a decision at some point throughout that season to ultimately change the crest for the following season, because then we were given a list of 3 options as to which crest we'd like, and then ultimately the one that we picked is still the crest today, which is this one on the shirt here. But I want to talk about why whenever I see this crest, I don't think of negative memories. I don't think of, oh, that was an horrible crest. I don't think of, oh, that's shocking, get that away from me. Whenever I see the 3 kits, there was the blue one, and it was the night kit. It had the 2 white bands there. You know, they had the yellow one, which is the away one, yellow and blue, and there was the white and like navy dark bluish, and they weren't great kits and it wasn't a great badge, but every time I see the kits and every time I see the badge, I just think positively. I really do, and that's why, in my unpopular opinion, I don't think this is actually that bad. Whenever I see the kit, whenever I see the badge, I think of that absolutely fantastic season under Roberto Martinez. I think of that season where we had the likes of Romelu Lukaku come in on loan, and he was a good proven Premier League striker when we brought him in, and you know, we were bringing him in after a decent spell at West Brom. I think he scored an hat-trick against Manchester United in one of his last games for West Brom. And we brought him in on loan, and we sort of thought, right, okay, how will Romelu Lukaku, fare in this team? A team that are pushing for European football, a team that, are trying to break into that top 4 as it was then, because there was only really top, 4 teams that were established in that top 4. Is he going to be able to do that? And he come in and he was an absolute revelation for Everton Football Club, so much so that we ended up signing him on a permanent. Whether you like him or not, and I asked him a question on Twitter the other day. Well, I didn't ask him a question. I said thanks for the memories, and he replied, which gave me a little bit of a fanboy moment. But whether you like Lukaku or not, whether you respect the way he left or not, there's no denying that he is still the most influential striker Everton have had for the last 15 or 20 years. Certainly in my lifetime as an Evertonian, obviously taking Duncan Ferguson away from the situation, we haven't had a striker as prolific as Romelu Lukaku, and some would argue that Romelu Lukaku was as prolific, even more prolific than Duncan Ferguson. He come in in that first season. I remember his debut against West Ham. His debut was actually the same game that that Leighton Baines scored the 2 free kicks. Leighton Baines scored 2 free kicks, one with his right foot, one with his left foot, and I think the game was 3-2. We won it 3-2 away from home, I believe, and Lukaku scored the winner. It was last 5 or 10 minutes of the game. Ball swings in, Lukaku jumps up, heads it in, and you know, knocks himself out in that process of heading it in. And it was from that point on, Everton fans really took to Lukaku, because we could see from there he was willing to put his body in the way, he was willing to put his head in the way, he was willing to put himself in danger in order to score a goal. And from that first 5 or 10 minutes of seeing him in an Everton kit with his dreadlocks, in the Boss blue kit, I thought it was Boss, I can't even lie, I thought it was Boss. We knew pretty much that we'd brought in a striker to ultimately replace Jelavic, after it become quite apparent that, you know, Jelavic, although he'd had a fantastic season a couple of seasons prior to it, and he'd had a fantastic season, you know, obviously where he couldn't stop scoring, we knew that maybe he wasn't going to be able to keep that up, so we needed another striker. We bought Lukaku in, and he's shown in those first 10 or 15 minutes of his Everton career that he had the killer instinct that you need in your striker, and he wasn't afraid to put his body in the line in order to score goals. Not only did we bring Lukaku in that season, we also brought Gareth Barry in, we also brought James McCarthy, and I believe we brought James McCarthy, Gareth Barry and Romelu Lukaku in on the same day. I think it was deadline day, on the same day. Again, Gareth Barry, what an absolute revelation he was for Everton Football Club. We spoke about him a couple of streams ago, and we said about how he come in, and there was a little bit of a hesitation because he was coming in at his age, and he'd had his best years obviously at Manchester City, and we thought, is he just coming in here to sort of get a last paycheck and then, you know, leave basically? And he didn't. He come in, and you literally wouldn't have thought that he was at the tail end of his career. You wouldn't have thought that he'd given his best days to another football club, because he come in for Everton and he was absolutely unbelievable in that midfield. He was fantastic. He was so classy. He done everything right. He was just a simple footballer who got his foot on the ball. He knew how to pass. He had an unbelievable footballing brain. He was just an absolutely fantastic footballer. He come in, obviously had an unbelievable season for us. And I remember his first game again against Chelsea at Goodison Park. Samuel Eto'o, who was playing for Chelsea at the time, obviously didn't sign for Everton until the season after. Samuel Eto'o went one-on-one with Tim Howard, and Gareth Barry slid in and made an absolutely unbelievable block to block the goal ultimately in that game, and it was fantastic. And like I said, James McCarthy as well, another player that come in on deadline day, absolutely fantastic for us. Another player that would always put his body on the line, always throw himself into challenges, never be afraid. He broke his leg throwing himself into a challenge, not in that season, but in a season after that. And like I said, whenever I look at this badge, and I simply can't have negative feelings towards this, no matter how bad the design might have been, no matter how poor we might think, oh my god, why did we allow this badge to go through? Every time I see this badge, I just see Lukaku bossing it, Ross Barkley bossing it again. Barkley, another example of whether you like him or not, and however you feel towards him now, which, you know, is probably well justified considering how he left the football club and the fact that he done us over. When you think about this badge, and when you put Ross Barkley and this badge together, you think about the games against Swansea, for example, where, you know, he fired in a free kick from 25-30 yards with a Skinner to win the game for us, and then come out after it and said his ma had shaved his head. You think about the game against Newcastle, where he ran the entire length of the pitch and put it away. You think about, you know, his various goals at Goodison Park, where he took the ball under his wing and he just, you know, he basically just took it under his own control and scored a beauty. And again, the reason, I suppose the overall ultimate sort of, you know, end view and end opinion on this as to why I don't see negative in this badge and why I don't actually think it's that bad is because whenever I see this badge, I think of a squad, I think of a group of players, I think of a management style prior to Carlo Ancelotti that we haven't seen since. Now, it didn't work out for Roberto Martinez, and he should have been sacked because towards the end it got very sour, and he proved that he couldn't get things right in what he needed to do. But in that season, I still haven't seen Everton play as good a football in my lifetime as I seen in that one individual season, the 2013-14 season, where we had this badge. We had this badge for one season only, that first Roberto Martinez season, and then it was scrapped, and this was the first kit. The kit that I'm wearing now was the first kit after this badge was scrapped, the first kit with this new badge, and Roberto Martinez's second season, which ultimately didn't go as well as we all wanted or expected. I should have put the kit on with the badge, I should have put the blue kit on. I'm sure I've got it there. I know there's a signed Lukaku one upstairs in the office, in my dad's office. If you haven't seen the office tour, definitely check it out after this live stream. It's unbelievable. I'm sure I've got mine still in there. It might be a bit small for me, but I'm sure it's still in there. But whenever I see this badge, whenever I see the kits, I just think of Ross Barkley tearing teams up left, right and centre. I think of Romelu Lukaku tearing sides up with his Zeds and then ultimately cut his Zeds off halfway through the season. I think about Gareth Barry stepping in and being an absolute revelation. I think about Stephen Naismith coming in and being a super sub off the bench, scoring hat-tricks against the likes of Chelsea. I think about Kevin Morales. I think the season with this badge was Kevin Morales' best season at Everton, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he was the most consistent he's ever been. He was putting in fantastic performance week in, week out. Steven Pienaar also played in this squad, and although he was coming towards the end of his career, he was still very, very good technically. He still had a lot of ability, because you don't lose that. And it also was the year and the season that we truly seen Seamus Coleman and Leighton Baines as the best fullbacks in the world. I do not give a shit what anybody says, and that's probably an unpopular opinion in itself, but I will argue this point until the end of days. This season, the 2013-14 season, Seamus Coleman and Leighton Baines were the best two fullbacks on this planet. I do not care. I do not care what anybody says. We had Sylvain Distin still playing, bossing it. We had John Stones had broken through the squad, and he was, fantastic. Phil Jagielka was brilliant as well. I remember the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park where Kevin Morales scored, and then it was the game that Lukaku scored the header at the Gladys seat, and it was absolutely fantastic. I suppose the point of this entire video really is that I only see positive memories with this badge. I really, really do. And it was, not only was it the start of something new for Everton, not only was it the start of something fresh for Everton after David Moyes, it was the second season with Knight. The kit was massively different to the one we seen in the first season. It was massively different to the one that I think we've ever seen. A new badge, and although it wasn't quite positive when the badge was announced or the kit was announced, when you think about the football that we played throughout that season, there was very, very few games that we were pouring. Very, very few games that we were pouring. And it felt a bit towards the end of the season, obviously, when the pressure sort of come upon us, and, we beat Arsenal at Goodison Park, and then we lost to Southampton and Palace, I think it was, to basically throw the top four chance out the window. But again, that Arsenal game at Goodison Park, the Manchester United game, which we watched on the TheMightyBlues channel a couple of weeks ago at Old Trafford, Oviedo scoring, there was just so many memories in that season that are just far too positive for me to look at this badge and even take in the design elements of it as negative, because I just look at it and I just think the memories are absolutely fantastic. Get your thoughts in, because a lot of people might say, what are you on about? I don't really hate this badge, I don't think it's that bad. But there's a lot of people I see talk about this badge and the kits of that season on Twitter. They just seem to have loads of hate towards it and loads of negative thoughts, and I just think, listen, if you were to say to me now, Carlo Ancelotti's coming to Everton and he's going to get you back playing like Roberto Martinez was in that first season, or even better, but you've got to go back to that badge, I'd snap your hand off straight away and say, put the badge on every single piece of clothing I own, mate. I'd snap it off straight away, because the football we played in that first season was absolutely unbelievable. It was fresh, like Lavid says, Roberto was a breath of fresh air. He was a breath of fresh air for the football club, and it went so well in that first season. Now, obviously, after that season it didn't go so well, and I'm not saying that it was because we changed badge or we changed kit, whatever. I honestly think that Martinez, as soon as he sort of lost this stand and he lost that solidity in the defence, I think he sort of lost his way, and his attacking ways were outweighed by the fact that we became quite poor defensively quite quickly, and obviously John Stones left, and ultimately that left a massive hole in the team as well. But again, that wasn't within this season. We had this badge for one season and only, and I stick by saying it was the best season of football I've seen Everton play in my lifetime. I've been alive 22 years this year, and I haven't seen Everton play better football than we did in that season. So that is my unpopular opinion. I honestly don't think the 2013-14 badge was that bad. Now, okay, the design wasn't great, it was very simplistic, but sometimes simplistic's all you need. It wasn't awful, it wasn't horrible, the kits weren't awful. I actually thought the kits were pretty decent, to be honest with you, especially the home kit. The away kit, the yellow one, I've never really been into the yellow kits, if I'm being honest with you, but the third one I thought was okay as well, and like I said, we were fantastic throughout the season. Ultimately, it led to us signing Romelu Lukaku on a permanent deal, and him going on to being the most prolific striker Everton have had for the last 15 years. It led to us lauding Ross Barkley for the time that he remained here until he left. It left. I think it solidified the legend status of the likes of Seamus Coleman, Leighton Baines, Tim Howard was pretty decent in that season as well, and it was just a good season in memories wise, and that's why I simply can't hate on this badge. And like I said, the players that Roberto Martinez brought in that season, both in the summer and the January, you can't really fault. Obviously there was a couple in there that were absolutely dreadful, and Alcaraz was one of them. He was an absolute disaster. Lassina Traore come in the January of that season and obviously only played, one game and then left, but he come in on loan. But, the players that he brought in the positive side, you look at the McCarthy, Gareth Barry, Romelu Lukaku, obviously he previously brought Kone in, but those three players for me on one day were just absolutely fantastic for Everton Football Club, and three of them, and like I said, every time I look at this badge, I can't think negatively, because I'm too busy thinking about the fact that we had badges we had players in that season, we had personalities, we had quality that we simply haven't got now. We don't have anybody now that'll throw their body in the way like James McCarthy did, that's willing to get themselves, potentially get themselves hurt in order to, for the team. Okay, possibly you could say Andre Gomez, because of what happened early in the season, but we've got nobody that seems to put that passion in, that seems to fly around the pitch, throwing in challenges, getting involved in people's faces, showing what it means to play for Everton Football Club. We haven't got anybody that's got the quality, that's got the class, that's got the ability of a Gareth Barry who can just bring the ball down. He doesn't need an awful lot of pace, he doesn't need an awful lot of skill, but if a ball is leaving Gareth Barry's foot, it's landing exactly where he intends it to the centimetre. Gareth Barry could spray a 50-yard pass and tell you the blade of grass that it's going to land on before he's hit it, and it will land on that blade of grass, guaranteed. He'd throw challenges in, he could also shoot as well. I remember a couple of times Gareth Barry would break through, and if he hit it from 20 yards, it was going in the back of the net. We had Romelu Lukaku brought in that season. We still haven't replaced the striker in terms of clinicalness of Romelu Lukaku. We haven't brought anybody in. Now, okay, Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin are doing very, very well at the moment, and that's fair enough, and I think they potentially could be as clinical as Lukaku was, but at the moment we simply haven't got that clinicalness in the team. We haven't got that passion that McCarthy showed. We haven't got that quality in midfield that Ross Barkley had, and whether you like him or not, and I'm not Ross Barkley's biggest fan, trust me, I don't think any Evertonian could do what he done, so the fact that he comes out and sprays about being a massive Evertonian, etc., I think is questionable, because I don't think any Evertonian could do what he done to the football club. But like I said, whether you like him or not, we haven't had a midfielder since Ross Barkley who will pick the ball up, run with the ball, and have that confidence to go all the way and then shoot. Have that confidence to hit the ball from 20 yards. The goal against Manchester City, in which he scored, I think it was that season, if I'm not mistaken, where he scored, where he turned, and he was on the tightest angle ever. He was about 30 yards out, and he just curled it straight in, easy as you like. The goal against Newcastle, where he took it from one end of the pitch to the other, and he had opportunities to pass elsewhere and he didn't. He went on his own. The free kick against Swansea, where he said, I'm taking this and I'm fucking scoring it. We haven't got a player with A, that confidence, and B, that ability. Yes, okay, Gylfi Sigurdsson can hit a ball from 20 yards, and okay, he can take an odd free kick here and there, but I don't give a shit what anybody says. Gylfi Sigurdsson hasn't put in a season for Everton like Ross Barkley did in that 13-14 season. And people might have a go at me, people mightn't like that I'm giving Ross Barkley praise, or mightn't like that I'm talking about him positively, but to be perfectly honest with you, if we're being realistic, whether you like him or not, now we're being realistic, and you look at Ross Barkley's performances in that season, same with Lukaku, whether you like him or not, same with Leighton Baines, same with Seamus Coleman, they were just so positive, and it was at a time for Everton Football Club where everything was up in the air. Everything was really, really up in the air. If you're enjoying the team so far, by the way, please do hit that like button. It means an absolute massive, massive amount to me. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second. Don't forget to follow us on social medias, Twitter, Instagram, etc., etc. But like I said, it was very, very uncertain times for Everton Football Club in that season, with finished the reign of a manager who was very, very solid. Okay, he wasn't anything special, he didn't win us anything, but he was getting us consistently within the top 6 or 7 in the Premier League every single year, which we've seen now is very, very tough to do. He was getting us in the European competitions nearly every season. He was brilliant defensively. The players were playing with passion. The players were playing with energy. We'd lost that manager. He'd gone to Manchester United. He'd disrespected the football club by trying to buy Leighton Baines and Marouane Fellaini. We lost one of our key players in Marouane Fellaini that season. Marouane Fellaini was one of our better players. We'd lost him to Manchester United. Leighton Baines stayed loyal and said, I am going fucking nowhere. So it was very, very uncertain going into that season. We didn't know an awful lot of Ross Barkley. He hadn't played an awful lot of Premier League football before. He certainly hadn't had the impact. He certainly hadn't had the impact that he did in that season. We were bringing Lukaku in, who had a good season for West Brom, but could he do it for Everton? Could he do it in a side that would challenge him for the Europa League at the very, very least? We brought in Gareth Barry. Was he good enough? Was he not good enough? We brought in James McCarthy, who ultimately was part of a relegation side. And the manager we brought in, yes, had won an FA Cup the season prior, but had also been relegated with Wigan. So there was loads of uncertainty, and there was loads of, I think, scarce around the football club at that moment. The season was just absolutely fantastic. Now, okay, we finished 5th and just short of 4th, but the season was absolutely unbelievable, and those players that we were a little bit sceptical about that season just became absolute superstars for me in that one season. And then ultimately a lot of them, your Lukaku, your Stones, your Barkley's fucked it up after they left and out after that season, in the way that they left and the way that they treated the club. But in that season, there's no, there's no hiding the fact of how good they were. Deulofeu's another player who come in young from Barcelona. Who's this kid? Is he good enough? Is he going to do it? And he scored a fantastic goal against Arsenal away from home to get us a point there, and he performed in a lot of the games in that season as well. So yeah, those are my opinions on the badge. We'll show some of the options when this, obviously, after that season, the fans still weren't happy with the badge and the kit and whatever, fair enough. It's not, like I said, it's not great design-wise. I'm not sitting here saying I think it's a revolution design-wise. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's not. I just think the memories we had in it are far, far, far more important than how the badge looks. But it got changed, and we'll show some of the options in a second as to what it got changed to. Let's dive into the live comments. As Susan Kennedy said, looking back, those kits are fantastic. That blue and yellow kit especially, and that badge almost adorable. Now, exactly, and we can only look back with fond memories. Like I said, I wasn't a massive fan of the yellow kit, but it wasn't the worst kit we've ever had, let's be honest. We can only look back with fond memories at that season because, again, I challenge anybody in the last 22 years since I've been alive to pull out a better season for Everton Football Club than that season. Now, okay, some people might say the 2005 season when we finished in the Champions League, but did we play better football in that season than the 13-14 season? I don't know. Eden says, did you watch the Everton-Chelsea FIFA game today? Yeah, so I want to talk about that just briefly, totally off topic. If you didn't see it today, basically the Premier League have put on like a Premier League, which is basically FIFA. Basically, every club, I think it's every club, nominates one player to represent them, and they all go in this FIFA tournament. And today, I don't know if that one player, I think that one player does represent the club throughout the entire tournament. It's a knockout tournament, so you lose, you win, you go to the next stage. And today, Andre Gomez, who's representing Everton, absolutely obliterated Reece James, who's representing Chelsea. And it was quite funny, actually, because, listen, it's FIFA, and it's not real, and it's, it's clutching at straws if we're going to take any real, excitement out of it, let's be perfectly honest. But it's fantastic to see because it gives us something to watch at this time. Not only does it give us, football to watch in some capacity, even if it is FIFA, even if it is a computer game, but it gives us the chance to watch our Premier League players, the players that play for our football club, the players that, are competing week in, week out, playing FIFA. And B, Andre Gomez just absolutely obliterated Reece James. He beat him 8-0, and he was playing as Everton against Chelsea as well. And like I said, it was quite entertaining because obviously the last game we played in the Premier League, we were beaten by Chelsea 4-0, so it was quite nice to see us absolutely batter Chelsea in some capacity. And I honestly think Andre Gomez will go on and win that FIFA tournament because he just absolutely blew Reece James out the park. Reece James couldn't say anything after the game. He was just like, I've been royally twatted there. I've been absolutely knocked left, right and centre there. There's not much I can say. But yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on for the rest of them games because it is entertaining. I had a couple of people DMing me saying messaging me on Twitter saying how good it's been for their children and how entertaining it is, and it gives us something to watch and it gives us something to get excited about. And you know what? Even in a computer game FIFA capacity, if Andre Gomez is going and twatting players from Chelsea and City and Arsenal and United 8-0, 7-0 here and there, then I'll watch it and I'll get excited every single time, mate. Lavid says, team did not expect us to play that way. Exactly, spot on. Ethan says, thoughts on the Zenga's under rumours from Roma. I don't know an awful lot about him, if I'm being honest with you, mate. Ethan says, are you watching the Manchester United versus Everton watch along tonight? So if you didn't know, over on the Everton official YouTube channel, there is a watch back or a playback, the playbacks that Everton have been doing. We've done one ourselves on the TheMightyBlues channel, a playback of Manchester United versus Everton at Old Trafford. I believe it was 2012, 8 years ago. It was the 4-4 draw when Stephen Pienaar scored. I think we were 4-2 down. Jelic scored an header early on, and then Stephen Pienaar scored the equaliser. A very, very good game. I will be trying to catch it tonight. Yeah, Lavid says, so the new style caught out opposition. Sadly, it never lasted. Teams realised that Everton could not defend. Roberto ultimately had no other option. Spot on. And like I said, Roberto Martinez should have been sacked. He shouldn't have. He got found out. He got caught out, and it become apparent after that season quite quickly from the following seasons. This season when we had this kit, and the season after that, Roberto Martinez simply wasn't good enough to take us forward. However, in that season, that 13-14 season, we were absolutely fantastic. If you're enjoying the team so far, by the way, please hit that like button. Only takes a second. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Wimmy says, hi, everyone's doing. I'm not too bad. He also says, who's this new guy? Cameth Bale. Yeah, I assume you're talking about the band there. Listen, the barbers aren't open. Oh, City's having a go now. The barbers aren't open. I can't get my hair cut. Don't want to shave it off, so I've just launched an headband in it because it was doing my head in, getting in my way. So I do look royally, absolutely stupid. I understand that, but basically we're just going to have to put up with it. Dave says, I don't mind it, but the badge before and after was better. This badge, and I agree, the badge before and after was better, but like I said, we haven't played better football since that badge. But I do agree in terms of design, and that's what you base off when you go for a badge, don't you? You don't base off, right, okay, we'll get this badge and it's dead shit, but you'll play boss footy, or you'll get this badge and it's dead good and you'll play shit footy. You don't base it off that, you just base it off the design, and that's completely fair enough, and I actually agree with you, Dave. Everton Forever says, hope everyone's doing well, I'm not too bad, mate. Dave says, see Gomez smashing FIFA earlier, yeah. Absolutely unbelievable, isn't he? Absolutely unbelievable. Lavin says, to get my points across about Roberto, I had to post it in messages, hope you understand and can follow them. Yeah, no worries, I agree with you. I agree with you, mate. I absolutely agree with you. Wayman says, yes, Dave, he's got it handed to him. Dave says, secret FIFA God. Ewan says, Andre Gomez and highlights Reece James in the Premier League game. He did. Hernandez says, I didn't mind that badge at all that much. Was incredible memories were made in that badge. Also, one of the best memories of that is that everything went ultra clearance and I grabbed everything. There you go. Everything went ultra clearance in terms of the shop. There you go. And you're spot on. The memories were just absolutely fantastic. They really, really were. And you know, we can look back on it now and we can, it's easy to at the time say this badge is shite, let's get rid of it straight away, because when we were playing that football, we weren't thinking about the badge, we weren't thinking about the kit, we weren't thinking about anything like that. But now when you take a step back and you sort of look back on it from an outsider's point of view, we only had one season in that badge, and every time I see it on social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, and people put it up, or people put pictures of, you know, players in it up, and it's like, oh, that kit was shite, that badge was shite. I just look at it and go, what a season that was, what an absolutely fantastic season that was. Dave says, don't forget sitting in Goodison after the game, watching Bobby's team pass it back 17,000 times a game and boring the shit out of the fans. Exactly, and ultimately, listen, it ended poorly for Roberto Martinez, it did, I agree. And I'm not saying that he should have stayed, and I'm not saying that we should have kept this badge, and I'm not saying that the design of this badge was the best design we've ever had. I'm just saying that I just think of the positive memories. Raymond says, hit the like, guys, for future football player impersonations next week, Carlos Tevez. Definitely not. Dave says, didn't he play one game and score against Chelsea and then he was injured? Lucina Traore, come on, for one game, scored a back-heeled goal, and then we didn't see him again because he went off injured. I'm not too sure whether it was against Chelsea, to be honest with you, but he come on for one game, scored a goal, and then we didn't see him again. So he had a 100% goal to play in ratio, to be fair to him. Hernandez says, do the R9 haircut for the next team. I'm sure Richarlison will retweet it. If Richarlison retweets it, I'll do it, but he's not going to retweet it, so I'm not going to do it. Raymond says, Brave Hernandez. Raymond says, Ross was good the season before. Everyone said Ross was good, but then his head blew up like helium balloon, so he floated off to London. Fair enough. Nathan says, I like that badge. It was simple and good. Shame we got rid of it. Fair point. A lot of people liking the badge in the live comments. If you're enjoying, leave a like, by the way. Raymond says, hey, Calvert Bale, read some comments. You're worse than Cam. I'm in the comments. I'm in. Everton Forever says, Delafeu was my favourite player for ages. There you go. Obviously come in that season. Wayne says, was doing some scouting for a new keeper yesterday. I mean, YouTube videos, my number one pick was Alex Meret from Napoli, followed by these two, Andre Onana, Unai Simon. Any thoughts on these all young? I think they're all good young goalkeepers, if I'm being honest with you. We spoke about goalkeepers yesterday, and on Monday, I don't think we're going to get rid of Jordan Pickford. I just don't see it happening, or whether we want to or not, I just don't see it happening. But the goalkeepers you've mentioned are all good young goalkeepers. Wayne says, hey. Wayne says, I like Merit. Hernandez says, Calvert Bale is a fantastic alter ego name, Wayne. Network Michael D, what's happening, Mike? Mike says, click the like, guys. If you could hit the like button, it'd mean a massive amount to me. Thanks, Mike, for getting involved. Wayne says, I like Senges. Under is a good player, is a bit inconsistent. Alex says, Cam, if you could bring in any current player who left Everton, who would it be? Personally, I picked Lookman or Barkley. If they were in their current form, it's a tough one, that. It's a tough one because there's Barkley in his form that he was in that season, not in his form now, and not since he left because of how he left. There's Lukaku, obviously, would be silly to say no to Lukaku. There's Gareth Barry in that season, who was fantastic. James McCarthy in that season, but obviously since then they haven't had fantastic careers. I'm going to say Gareth Barry in his form of that season, I really, really am. David says, just shave it, Cam, you'll have it short anyway. The missus won't be happy with that one, but I don't know. Rangers' only person I've seen strike a ball better than under is Roberto Carlos. The man's class, I think, with 100% in for him. The rumour won't go away. Hopefully, mate, then hopefully. David says next week he'll be Camaldinho. Where says, no, Dave should be a theme for lockdown. Cam does we guess who he is until he is Todd Cantwell. Bloody hell. I have to take some time to grow that one out. I hope we're not in lockdown for that long. Eden said Andre Gomes will beat Sterling. Yeah, he's got to play Sterling on Friday. Hopefully he absolutely knocks him out the park. Dave says, haha, good idea. Wayne says 96p. Wayne says, Cam, think you should spend a bit more time while we're in lockdown improving your knowledge on the top footballers from other leagues across Europe would help you with on discussions. There you go. Maybe I'll take a little bit of a look. It's tough because I'm very, very cautious of like YouTube videos and stuff, because I watched the YouTube video of Umar Nias before he signed, and I swore at the time he was the best footballer on the planet and we were getting a fantastic deal, and then he come in and he's not even a footballer. So I'm very cautious about those, but you know, it's definitely something I'll look into. Dave says borrowing Jess's hair curlers. Jess puts laughing faces. Wait, just small criticism. No, it's constructive, and I really, really like that. I'm happy to get any constructive criticism. No offense at all taken. If you've got any criticism, constructive, or any, you know, any suggestions or stuff for the channel for the future, leave them in the comment section down below. Get them in the live comments. I'm always happy to talk about them. So yeah, anyway, obviously we had that badge, and then just briefly, I just want to talk about it briefly. We had these 3 options of badges for the following season. It was decided that we were going to get rid of that badge. We were going to change kit sponsorship from Nike. We were going to go back to Umpro, and you know, the option was given to the fans. As you can see the link there. Don't go on it now because obviously it's invalid. But the option was given to the fans. For us to pick the badge basically, and ultimately obviously we went for the first one there on the very, very left, which is this one. I actually don't mind the one in the middle, to be honest. The one on the the one on the right, the third one on the right, is absolutely shocking. If we'd have had that, I think I'd have just felt and cried my eyes out for the foreseeable future. But I actually don't mind the one in the middle, but ultimately we went for the one on the left, which I think was the best decision. But yeah, that's the end of the live stream. That is my my opinions, my unpopular opinion on why the Everton Crest from the 2013-14 season wasn't actually as bad as some people remember it, or as some people make out. Neither were the kits, and the performances on the pitch we've seen in that season were definitely not bad. They were the best performances I've seen from an Everton team in my lifetime, and I've been alive 22 years this year. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. If you're watching live and you've been watching live, a massive thank you for watching and getting involved in the live comments. If you've enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. We'll be live on Friday around about 5:30 p.m. with John from my channel. You all know John. You've all seen the clips of Sidibe get back in position, and what the fuck is that? Absolutely love John. He's a belter. So we'll be back with John 5:30 on Friday. We're going to talk more Everton. We're going to talk transfers. We're going to talk everything. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and join us from 5:30 on Friday night. Mike says shave your hair. I wonder what Jess going to say about that. Jess puts a thingy face. Where he says, could Defo do a Grealish? I should have said Todd Campbell. See, the Cam just fits in everything, done it. I can't wait to do the Camspiracy Theory, by the way, on the personal channel. If you didn't know, I uploaded a little personal channel video on Sunday. So if you're interested in getting to know me on a little bit more of a personal level, if you type in on YouTube Cameron D. Hay, you'll see that video. It's called Isolation Tips and a Bit About Me. Have a little look at it. It's just no talking about Everton, just talking a bit more about me, my other interests and stuff like that. And I'm going to do a conspiracy series on it called Camspiracies, because that was suggested in the comments a few months ago, and it just absolutely blew me head off. If I done it like Grealish, I'd have to shave the sides, and I really don't trust myself. Alex says, are you going to do a watch-along tonight? Unfortunately, I can't do a watch-along tonight. I might try and catch the game, but I've got a few things to do, so I can't do a watch-along, unfortunately. But I'll probably be in the comments of the video, so if you're in the video and you're watching live, look out for me in the comments. Wayne says, no, if Michael D was homeschooled, that's why I can't spell. Oh, you were homeschooled. David says, Mikey, he's a brummie, only cost 50p, Mikey D. He says, take care, all guys, stay safe. He also says, next team, can we want an impersonation of who? I'm not good at impressions, mate. Wayne says, respect, Campbell, thank you very much. And Eugene says, Napoli open the door for Alan exit. Will he come to Everton? Who knows? We'll definitely probably be talking about Alan. We'll be talking about Alan on the next episode of the Talking Rubbish Transfer Show on Monday. But anyway, big thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. Only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. We'll be back on Monday. We'll be back on Friday with John, 5:30 p.m. So join us live for that. Massive thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.